right. Genesis chapter 3 in one hand. To get this thing down right, we'll get Genesis 2 in one hand, and then get Numbers 6 in the other, and then with the other, Genesis chapter 9. Now the question comes up here, what does fruit have to do with Adam and Eve's condition, and what kind of fruit was it from the knowledge of the tree of good and evil? All right, in Genesis chapter 3, it's called the knowledge of good and evil, and when they eat it, something happens to them. All right, then you get Genesis chapter 2, and you find out in Genesis chapter 2, there are at least 2 trees in that garden. Genesis chapter 2, verse 17, of the tree of the knowledge of good and evil, thou shalt not eat of it. All right, that's one tree there. Now verse 9, and out of the ground made the Lord God grow every tree that is pleasant to the sight and good for food, the tree of life also in the midst of the garden, that tree there. We also know the third tree. How do we know of the third tree? Turn to Genesis chapter 3 and look at verse 7. And notice in 3:7 they sowed what kind of leaves together? Fig leaves. We know of 3 trees there. There's a tree called the tree of life, and there's a tree called the tree of knowledge of good and evil, and there's a tree there called the fig tree. And I had you turn to Numbers chapter 6 and hold that for a minute, and come across to Judges for a minute, and get Judges chapter 10, I think it is. No, chapter 9. Chapter 9, verse 8. The Garden of Eden, you got 3 of them spotted. You got a fig tree, tree of life, knowledge of good and evil. Now that is no, if you read further in Genesis chapter 6, you remember when God put the curse on them, he said, cursed is the ground for thy sake, thorns and thistles shall bring forth to thee. So there are 4 kinds of vegetation identified there. There are thorns and thistles, there's a fig tree, there's a tree of life, there's a knowledge of good and evil. There are 4 things mentioned. All right, Judges chapter 9, verse 8. The trees went forth on a time to anoint a king over them. And they said to the olive tree, reign thou over us. But the olive tree said to them, should I leave my fatness wherewith by me they honor God? Olive tree is connected with God. And man, and be promoted over the trees. What's olive oil a type of in the Bible? Type of the Holy Spirit. That thing there is a picture of the tree of life, an olive tree. That's what Christ is when the blood begins to come out of him, is in Gethsemane. You know what Gethsemane is? It's an olive press. It's an olive press. Verse 10, the tree said to the fig tree, there, now we got the second one, come thou and reign over us. For the fig tree said, should I forsake my sweetness, not connected with God, and my good fruit, not connected with God, and be promoted over the trees, not connected with God? Why? It's self-righteous. The fig tree is a picture of self-righteousness. It's a picture of the nation of Israel. And the leaves are self-righteous. That's the only tree that God ever cursed. Look at Matthew, cursed the fig tree and wither away by the root. We got 2 of them. Verse 12, then the tree said to the vine, come thou and reign over us. And the vine said to them, should I leave my wine, which heareth God and man? It's connected with God. And man, and go to be promoted over the trees? What's wine type of? It's a type of blood. Christ says, I shall henceforth no more drink of this fruit of the vine, the day I drink of the new kingdom of my Father. At the wedding of Galilee, his mother says, they have no wine. He says, woman, what have I to do with thee? Mine hour is not yet come. He said, the Lord's Supper, he says, this cup is New Testament, my blood. Wine's a type of blood. That's clear. All right, verse 14. Then said all the trees of the bramble, there's your thorns and thistles, come now reign over us. Now, if you put that past in the Garden of Eden, you know what you'd have? You'd have an olive tree as a type of tree of life, a fig tree as a picture of self-righteousness, and a vine tree as a tree of forbidden fruit. Now I get number 6, verse 3. Number 6, verse 3. Tell me something, is blood forbidden fruit? Blood is forbidden to take orally in the Old Testament before the law, Genesis 9, in the Old Testament under the law, Leviticus 17, and the New Testament under grace, Acts 15. Therefore, if its type is the vine tree, there's some connection. There's got to be a connection. Numbers 6, verse 3. He shall separate himself from wine and strong drink, and shall drink no vinegar of wine, or vinegar of strong drink. Neither shall he drink any liquor of grapes, nor eat moist grapes or dried. All the days of his separation shall eat nothing that is made of the vine tree. T-R-E-E, from the kernels even to the husk. Forbidden fruit. Forbidden fruit. All right, Genesis chapter 9, and we'll get this together. Genesis chapter 9, verse 19. The vine tree is a type of the tree of knowledge of good and evil. Whatever Adam and Eve took, it affected their circulatory system. It put blood in them. When Eve took that stuff, she took that fruit in her fingers, it must have turned her fingernails red. She put it in her mouth, it must have left her mouth red. Genesis chapter 9, verse 19. These are 3 sons of Noah, and of them was the whole earth overspread. And Noah began to be a husbandman, and planted a vineyard, and drank of the wine, was drunken, was uncovered within his tent. You know why that's so significant? Because Adam is a type of Noah. Now let's look at these similitudes. Before Adam was here, there was somebody on this earth, the sons of God. And God said, replenish it. Before Noah was here, the earth was populated before the flood. And the Lord said, replenish it. Before Adam was here, the earth was submerged under water. Genesis chapter 1, verse 2, 2 Peter chapter 3. Before Noah came out, they were submerged by a flood. Genesis chapter 6, 7, and 8. Adam has 3 sons. Cain, Abel, and Seth. Noah has 3 sons, Shem, Ham, and Japheth. Adam had one of his boys a type of Christ, Abel. Noah, one of his boys type of Christ, Shem. One of Adam's boys under a curse, Cain. One of Noah's boys under a curse, Ham. Adam's naked. Noah's naked. Adam sins. Noah sins. Adam sinned by what he put in his mouth. Noah sinned by what he put in his mouth. What he put in his mouth? Wine. What Adam put in? You can't beat that thing with a stick. That thing is a grape. That's a grape that comes off a vine tree when they take that stuff. That's why the first miracle in the Old Testament, public miracle, is turning water into blood. And the first New Testament miracle is turning water into wine. And this is he that came, not by blood only, but by water and blood. See that thing? And that means that your first parents, Adam and Eve, had a circulatory system in them, and in that system was water. Hence, blue blood. Child of a king. It means that your body is 85% water right now. It means that when you get saved, you're a fish. Follow me and I'll make you to become fishers of men. You're a water fisher. You're aquatic. And that water, when she took that stuff orally, somehow or another in those days, this system is connected to the circulatory system. Now it still is indirectly. They say you are what you eat. See? But what you eat here eventually winds up in your blood. Some form or another. But it's indirect now. In those days, the thing must have been direct. And when she took that stuff, that water turned to the blood you have right now. Adam shows up, and there's his wife, and well, he changed color. He was white. You ladies lose a lot of blood having children. You get anemic. It's pale. He looks at his wife, and she's pink. And as soon as he looks at her, he knows she's dead. He knows it. Takes one look. And he said, what'd you do? I didn't do anything. Well, your color's changed. Oh, well, this little thing I eat here, hold it out. He knows right away what it is. Now, he can do one of 2 things. He can say, you disobeyed God, you sinned against God, you deserve what you got, goodbye, and let her die. Or else he can say, okay, if you die and you're bone of my bone and flesh of my flesh, I love you enough to die with you. Here you go. I'd explain, this old Bible, it explains so much, it just explains more than you'd care to have explained. That's why they keep updating it. They get dumber as the year goes by, and what a dumb Bible to keep up with their stupidity. Now you take this thing right here. Didn't you ever wonder why all that stuff on that magazine rack is sex and violence? Did you ever wonder why all television is sex and violence? Because the basic root plot is every woman wants a man who loves enough to die for her. That's all that is. It's just King James 16:11. Adam and Eve. All the thing is. And so it's always love enough to die for him. Adam loves enough to die for her. Husbands, love your wives as Christ loved the church and gave himself for it. For this cause shall man leave father and mother and cleave to his wife, there shall be one flesh. I speak of a great mystery, and I speak concerning Christ and the church. What's he talking about? Adam and Eve. What does it mean? It means Adam died to save his wife. And Adam was not deceived, but the woman being deceived was in the transgression. 1 Timothy chapter 2. The whole thing there. 2 Corinthians chapter 11. I fear lest by any means as the serpent beguile Eve, so your mind might be beguiled, so forth and so on. So you got a thing here where Adam takes one look at her and sees she's gone, so he can go with her or else let her go, so he takes it to die with her. That's what's going on. And he takes it knowing what's going to happen, and knowing she doesn't. She's tricked into it. She's deceived. The man isn't deceived. And that explains anything you want to know, you're supposed to know is in here. If you can't find it here, you ain't supposed to know it. You ever hear the women say, that man, he's such a fool, that little snip, she fools him, she just wraps him around her finger. Men are so dumb. You know women say that? Because they're dumb. They think the man is tricked. No man is tricked. You know what the man does? He counts the cost. Oh, well, she puts on like that and looks like that, artificial this and artificial that, yeah, but a man figures any woman go that much trouble to get an impression of a certain kind of a woman. See? You ladies misread it. In other words, when a man goes to sing, you know what he does? He counts the cost and takes his chances. Women aren't that way. Unsaved maxim. Murphy's Law from the old days. You know, something we learned back in those days, they may not be scripture, but boy, they're scriptural. And one of them is men fall in love with what they see, women fall in love with what they hear. That's profound, man. That's profound. You never met a woman in your life too poor to own a mirror. Now that stuff, that might be, the godly dedicated life of the spiritual, godly dedicated fundamentalists, but it's the truth, man. It's the truth. Now you take that thing right there, so he dies to rescue her and falls with her, and that means his blood's no good. As in Adam all die. You know why you die? Your blood's no good. You know you got it from? You got it from a tree. You got it from the wrong place. You have to get the right kind of blood from another tree to get back where you ought to be. All right, you all been real good. It's 12 o'clock. One more here, all right? One more. Nothing like a Bible to clear up a college education.